Good evening. Welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, November 14. If you're watching live on Monday, November 14, we invite you to call in if you have questions or comments. Our call-in number is 769-1677. As always, you can also watch us live on Verizon Fios or Cablevision, and also live on a webcast at pctv76.org, or if you want to pick it up later on, through on-demand webcast. Our next meeting is a work session a week from today on Monday, November 21 at 7 p.m., and our next regular meeting is 2 weeks from now, Monday, November 28 at 8 p.m., with a work session at 7. So we have a bunch of things on our agenda today, but first and foremost among them is the happy occasion to add a new officer to the Village of Pleasantville Police Force. I'll invite the chief up in a moment to introduce the officer that we will be swearing in tonight, but I just want to say on behalf of the Village Board and on behalf of the community at large, we are delighted, Erin Holly, to be welcoming you to Pleasantville, delighted to add a woman police officer to our force, and we look forward to years of happy service, both the good service that you have provided in your career in the past recommends you highly to us, and we are confident that you'll be a good fit for our community. So let me invite Chief Love up, make a few comments, and then we will have the swearing-in ceremony.
Mayor, Board of Trustees, Administrator Dwyer, thank you for inviting me to this meeting this evening. It's another special occasion for the Village of Pleasantville. As you know, in the past, we lost some officers through attrition, and we've been working below minimum manning. It's been quite difficult for the police force to do everything that we would really like to do. Our objective and our main concern is community policing, community-oriented policing here in Pleasantville, dealing with youth, knowing our community, our youth, and it's very difficult when you're down so many people. The Village Board, we've discussed it numerous times, that we were below manning, that we need to bring some people on because the officers were getting overworked. They're working here and missing a lot of their family time, which is very important to police officers. So we sent some officers out to find someone that we thought would be a great fit for Pleasantville, who is a community-type person. We have been looking for a female for a while, and we believe Erin Holly will fit that role for us. Erin worked for 4 years in the Mount Vernon Police Department. She comes highly recommended, and I'm sure she will fulfill the role in Pleasantville just as well. Erin, would you like to come up?
Thank you for those comments, Chief. And after tonight, we will have to revise those comments to provide the gender-neutral term of minimum staffing, which is a happy occasion. Erin, if you'd step over here and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Erin Holly, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer in the Village of Pleasantville according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Stay here. Chief.
Mom, would you like to come up?
It's all right. We're not going to appoint you. You just have to help with the pinning.
We're going to ask you if you would pin the shield on your daughter.
Oh, thank you. It's my honor. Does it go on the right anymore?
She yells, you've done a good job.
I don't appear so hard.
Nor do we.
That's all.
Okay. There we go. Congratulations.
You can kiss it too.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Judy's the keeper of all oaths. Sign each part. Yes, you can swear.
Just a formality, because you already took the oath, so you just sign right over there.
While Aaron signs the oath book, we will go a little out of order from our normal agenda in order to complete the last piece of this process, and that is resolution number 230. We'll return to our rest of our resolutions earlier, but I will move that to hereby appoint Aaron Holly to the position of police officer in the Village of Pleasantville effective November 15, 2011 at a salary of $64,883. Said appointment subject to a probationary period of not less than 52 weeks to a maximum of 72 weeks. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I welcome Aaron Holly to the Village of Pleasantville Police Force. I imagine you'll want to attend all of our meetings because they're just thrilling, but we won't be offended if you all want to leave before we go into the dry and dispassionate description of sewers and local law amendments and the like. So, welcome. Thank you very much.
You had
Really
some,
pleased to have you.
You had some support back here, which was very, very nice of your.
Good night.
Good night now.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll return to the rest of our resolutions at the end of the meeting, but we have a number of other things to do tonight and a couple of happy things to report. And the first thing on our list is to thank a number of very special people, not only special volunteers in the Village of Pleasantville, but the volunteers that they conscripted into service and who willingly helped on the PACE Make a Difference Day. So we have here in the audience Kathy Dinkle, who is the chair of our beautification committee, and Tony Emerson, who is the chair of almost everything else. In this capacity, was working with a number of PACE students in the Lions Club Horseshoe Tournament. And Kathy and her crew on the beautification committee led the process of doing the annual cleanup day and had quite a raft of PACE students who came over on the PACE Make a Difference Day to assist. So we're going to read off the names to thank those students, and we'll be sending along over to PACE both a letter to those students and a modest gift that will remind them of where they came from and the community they helped. Did either of you want to say anything?
Other than, as far
Yep.
as,
Come on.
Come on down.
is that,
Come
You have
Mike,
to
so people
come
can
to
hear
the
you there,
mic,
Mike.
so- I know.
I don't mean to embarrass
Come
you,
on,
but
Kathy.
let me also say that my reason for coaxing you to the podium is also to have an opportunity to say thank you for all you do. We're going to have an opportunity to recognize you and the rest of your crew soon, but this woman who stands before you is the central figure in the extraordinary work that's been done around this village for quite a number of years in plantings, in holiday decorations, in seasonal stuff that goes on in the flower beds, the planters, the traffic islands, and it's hard to imagine what the world would look like without you. So thank you.
That's very kind. I'm not the only one, though. I do have a great group that
Without
helped.
question.
But this particular Saturday, that was PACE Make a Difference Day, I had probably 15 to 20 students from PACE. And they were so enthusiastic and so gracious and couldn't wait to get in there and participate and help. And as soon as you told them exactly what to do, we broke up into groups and they went off and did it. And we just had a great day. They worked until, I think, 2 in the afternoon. We got a lot accomplished, and it's just a great group of kids. And I just particularly want to thank Eric Morrissey for organizing that day with us. He's newly married and isn't around at the moment, but he's I haven't met him myself. I've only corresponded with him, but he seems like a very nice guy. And
Yeah.
just,
Eric is one of the government affairs people at PACE who.
and I just
assisted
want
in-
to say thank you again. We really, really appreciate all that they did. So.
The same was true with the crew that was at the Horseshoe Tournament. Tony had them corralled pretty well, and
Kathy.
they were eager to help. So
Sure.
and they were
Yes.
the spirit in the they were very they were eager. They were just a lot of fun to be around. So.
Tony, did you want to say anything about the students that helped you?
They're all excited. What do I want?
That's it, they're gone.
Hey.
Nowhere to be found.
Could bring it to the farmer's market.
That's it.
Right.
Look how nice they are.
bags.
You know.
They're
I mean,
nice, right?
I
like
them.
them.
I
I'm
ordered
Kathy.
them. I ordered them.
We gave them to the right
Good
two
job.
people because they will get tremendous amount of publicity.
That's
Well, it was a
right.
great day in Pleasantville. I didn't realize when Kathy had started downtown, but we were up at Roselle Park, and we had 5 students. Kathy had a bigger group.
Yeah.
And they did everything we wanted them to do. Raked the pits, cleaned up afterwards. We even got them to play a little bit. So next year we're going to sponsor a couple of PACE teams. They're 2 people's teams, so we're going to do that. And as when we finished, before Mindy's group finished, and as I went downtown, I could see her with all her people planting chrysanthemums, shrubs, pruning, doing all kinds of things, and it was really great. So Kathy and her team really did a wonderful job too. So we really appreciate everything that PACE does, and the relationships are wonderful. And in an upcoming, when we have the tree lighting, PACE is also going to supply for the chamber, on behalf of the chamber and their members, the hot chocolate and the treats. So we have this ongoing rapport with PACE, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for all you do, and for the Lions Club. That horseshoe tournament is a great thing. So I just had a few more comments, but let me first read off the names of the PACE students who participated in the Make a Difference Day back in October. And they are Judy Acosta, Anderson Braga, Jesus Cardona, Josh Grant, Ryan Houlihan, Christopher Jabbour, Shannon Kane, Alexandra Silver, Joseph Solomoneo, Noemi Tovar, Amanda Villavencio, Virginia McDougall, Danielle Schultheis, Lauren Trinkoff, Chris Walters, and Matt Landau. So thanks to all of those PACE students, and we'll be sending over, as I mentioned, a note to them and a token of our thanks for the good work they have done. And I echo all that you two have said about the strong relationship that we've had with PACE. For those of you who may not be aware of it, PACE is at the beginning of an approvals process in the town of Mount Pleasant for significant enhancements and changes to their Pleasantville campus that incorporates, among other things, the notion of selling their current Briarcliff campus and consolidating all their activities on the Pleasantville campus. So anybody who's interested in the work they envision doing can find quite a bit of detail about it on the PACE website. So I encourage anybody who's interested in what PACE may be doing to take a look at the PACE website and click into the master plan and see what their overall plans are. Certainly, we're in the somewhat unusual position that PACE is actually not in the village of Pleasantville, but is right on our borders in the town of Mount Pleasant, has a Pleasantville address, and because they are closest to our downtown and to our train station, I think the closeness of the relationship is obvious, and it's worth mentioning something that I have thought a lot over the past year, and that is that this PACE Make a Difference Day has been an annual event in October, and as obviously we are all aware of the tragic events of October a year ago at the Thornwood Town Center was a circumstance that made it extremely difficult for people to get up in the morning and figure out what to do next, and quite a large contingent of PACE students were in the village of Pleasantville the very next weekend for the PACE Make a Difference Day amid the high emotion that surrounded all of that, and that was both a statement of great character and a statement of commitment to the relationship that has, I think, only grown over the years, and certainly the happy report that you two have about the PACE Make a Difference Day this year suggests that we're on a roll. So if PACE is successful in their master plan efforts and ultimately consolidate a broader and more complete undergraduate life on their Pleasantville campus, I think it presents opportunities for even greater kinds of shared services and cooperative ventures and opportunities for our businesses to take advantage of PACE as a new customer base, and at the same time, hopefully opportunities for all of our service organizations like yours to take advantage of the great goodwill and the horsepower of a bunch of young college students. So thanks to everybody, you two chief among them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
A bunch of other things to report. Obviously, this is our first meeting, televised meeting, since the extremely difficult and discouraging storm we suffered through with so many Pleasantville residents out of power for so long. And although at various points in time it may have felt like nothing was happening, I can tell you that our village staff, especially Steve Johnson and Rob Travis and our DPW crew, led an effort that does this village proud. We were working on a daily basis, both with Con Ed, out in the streets, as well as behind the scenes, to try to get resources to our town as quickly as we could, following Con Ed's trucks around and essentially saying, okay, what can we do to help you to make sure you stay in the village of Pleasantville to keep working? So I know how frustrating it was for everybody in cold weather conditions to be without power. It's no solace to realize there were lots of people out longer than that, but I want to thank everybody in the village for the patience they showed and the good spirit they showed, with lots of people helping their neighbors. I can't count the number of people who recounted to me the story of the 150-foot extension cord running from the house that had power to the house that didn't, which is just the kind of thing Pleasantville neighbors have always done and hopefully will always do. So difficult circumstances. One has to wonder what it means when PACE had the biggest outage in its history during Hurricane Irene, and then just 2 months later eclipsed that with an even bigger one. So I'm sorry, Con Ed.
Con Ed,
Thank you for that.
case on the mind.
We were, I don't know what all of us have done to anger the weather gods, but it's been a tough business. So people have also asked the status of our pickup process. We're continuing to make our way around the village and pick up the debris from that storm, but amid the leaf requirements and the scope of the stuff that had to be cleaned up, it's going to take a while. So have patience, we're coming. So thanks to everybody, and again, especially thanks to Steve Johnson and Rob Travis, who put in lots of extra hours and took a certain amount of flack, as inevitably you do at the front end of a tough situation. They really did a great job. So,
And also, as much as there's many people that did a lot of great things with helping neighbors out, in a situation like that, which we rarely or hopefully get, where tree branches are falling and blocking the street or hanging into the street, and it may be a village tree that branches fell onto the public street and there's no wires involved, and go out there and pick them up and pull them to the side. The village will come and get them, but to keep the street blocked for days because it wasn't your tree doesn't really help the magnitude of cleanup that the village had to do on trees they own, property they own. If you just look at Wheeler Avenue, there's really nothing left. What did you call it, Jonathan?
Paired to the bone.
It's pared to the bone.
that would be
Pear
our
trees.
pear trees.
Yeah, so
Grim story.
But I did notice that for days there were streets that were closed because they had branches in them, and there was no wire, so why couldn't somebody just go out there and grab a branch and bring it to the side? And I know everybody had their own cleanup to do, but in those situations it will help everybody out. An emergency vehicle can get through, and it will just help our crews out a little bit, and help everybody out altogether. So.
Thank you for that. As Mindy mentioned, and you doubtless have all seen, we lost quite a number of trees on Wheeler Avenue, and the north end of Wheeler near the Iron Horse has been drastically and horrifyingly changed. Those were trees we knew to be brittle and which were on the radar screen for a long time. We've been replacing them bit by bit, but that process has obviously been accelerated. I somewhat doubt that we'll have a chance to resolve that and replant at this late stage in the season. Am I right, Steve?
It's getting late. The interesting thing is that I don't think there is a broken branch on any of the new trees that are in. So the ability of those trees to be supple and to withstand difficult climatic situations is obviously, just by that last storm, you can see a significant difference from the trees which have been populating that street for a long time. The Callery pears, which ours, Peters mentioned, have been long known to be very brittle and subject to storm damage.
So, at any rate, we are as unhappy as you are about the barren conditions at the north end of Wheeler, and we'll be getting to it. Obviously, it'll take a while to get mature tree canopy back, but we're headed there.
So the branches that are left to be picked up, are we doing a dump truck like we had talked about last week? Because there's so much that's still out there, and I know that the leaves are piling up as well, which compounds the issue. But have we come up with a system? Is there?
I'll have Steve send an email out tomorrow. He's back now, and I'm not really sure how he's progressing. I know he's on a leaf collection schedule, so I think he's in those zones also picking up brush.
All right, so if we could get out an email, maybe on the village email list, another opportunity to remind you, if you go to the village website, pleasantville-ny.gov, you can subscribe right on the homepage to Village News, and you're given the option to subscribe to various kinds of things, but certainly the Village News is a great resource and will allow you to get emails that are timely in matters of this kind, and it's a great resource. So please go to pleasantville-ny.gov and sign on up so we can get that out tomorrow. So the last thing before we leave the storm is that certainly in my 20-some-odd years of living in Pleasantville, I don't ever recall a year without a ragamuffin parade. And it was a sad event to think that we would have to cancel the ragamuffin parade, but conditions were just impossible and arguably unsafe. So apologies to kids young and old. It's one of the truly great days in the village of Pleasantville, so we're going to have to come back next year with a parade twice as good and twice as much fun to make up for 2011 and this freak weather conditions. So last thing about that day is that Michael Bloom, the young man who set up as part of his Bar Mitzvah project a run walk on behalf of the Tina Gambino Reflection Scholarship, was able to pull that off in the morning before the weather got bad. Am I correct that my colleagues on both sides were in that race?
Yes, we were. We both ran it, both finished. Jonathan was a little faster than me, not much.
Just a little.
30 seconds or so, I think it was.
Yeah. On the second lap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Well, at any rate,
Tortoise in the hair.
He totally cheated,
Except that the tortoise just never got going.
we'll leave their friendly rivalry to the two of them.
It was
but,
it was a great day, and I'll tell you, it was a
Jim
great.
held you back.
Yeah, Jim held me back. Well, no, he didn't. But the whole event was wonderful, and the course was great. Didn't you think so, Jonathan? It was.
Yeah, very challenging.
It was, they really wanted to get the high school was the main starting point, and that was important to the Gambino family that it went past all the schools and everything, and the school was wonderful, opened its doors as well. So it was a great relationship with the village and the school and the foundation and the Bloom family, and it was
Police
great. It's just
department did a
day.
great job. We had some county sheriffs who assisted in traffic control as well.
Right.
So thank you to both everybody who was involved, and especially to Michael Bloom.
He's going to be joining us probably the next board meeting just to give an update on the success of the event.
Oh, good.
That's great. Very glad to hear it. So you can look forward to that. Friday was Veterans Day, and we had a really very, very nice ceremony, as has happened for quite some years, down at the gazebo, led by Bert Ruiz, the commander of the Fancher Nickel American Legion Post, and which included musical selections by the Pleasantville High School Camerata and Razor's Edge, a raft of must have been 25 or more students from the high school who appeared at 11 a.m. on Veterans Day when they had the day off from school and could have been doing whatever they wanted. So that was an awfully nice event. 3 people were honored, Dick Devine and Roy Westmoreland, who are key players in the American Legion, and long-standing Pleasantville figures. Dick Devine is himself, I think, the living historian for Pleasantville High School and Pleasantville High School football. So Dick and Roy were honored and received proclamations from State Senator Andrew Stewart Cousins, and our own senior outreach director, Virginia Pancotti, was honored as well she should have been for the extraordinary work she has done for a very long time on behalf of the veterans and the community at large. Virginia was responsible for helping to get together a Veterans Roundtable that's turned out to be not only a great event, a weekly social occasion, an occasion to capture some oral histories about the community and about some of the wartime experiences of veterans, but also just an example of the sort of intergenerational programs that have been going down at the Clinton Street Center and which make it in many ways the envy of Central Westchester. So a very happy day on Veterans Day, and fast forward to this morning, Monday, when a fifth grade class from the middle school comes down, as they have for some years running, to the Clinton Street Center for a veterans breakfast, and it was another really, really nice occasion with lots of veterans there honored for the breakfast, and kids from the fifth grade led by their teacher and by Mr. Nuccio in a series of songs and some fifth grade speech making, as well as lots of good conversation. So another really great event, and one of those events that reminds you of what a wonderful community this is. I say it sounds like a sort of public relations statement, but the reality is you can't go to these events without leaving feeling as though not only have we inherited a community that's been made strong by lots of great people who still live among us, but the kids on the way up are going to do an equally good job when we're ready to hand over the reins. So
It was a great morning. It really was. Except for the little girl that had the Patriots shirt on next to it.
I also found out the year that Twinkies were invented, which was a piece of information I had not hitherto known.
There are a lot of them.
I don't know if Ruth Murden is watching, but if Ruth Murden is watching, perk up your ears. If you know Ruth Murden, perk up
Always
your ears.
watches Ruth Murden.
The November 2001 edition of this newspaper magazine called Generations has a full-page article entitled "Knitting, Crocheting, and Lots of Laughs. Pleasantville seniors have fun creating goods that help others." Ruth is the major domo of a knitting group, and about a third of the way into the description it says, "And Murden runs a tight ship, kind of. She might pound the table to get the group's attention, but it's clear that everything done here is good-natured. We love you," shouting at us, says Madhu Krishnani of Pleasantville with a smile. So it's just one of zillions of things going on down at the Clinton Street Center. Ruth has a bunch of people who gather every Monday morning and knit and crochet, and those things they make go to support troops. They go to various other kinds of charitable activities, and it's also just a great social occasion and an occasion to have people who know a craft pass it on to people who would like to learn it. So happy to see Ruth and her crew in the Generations magazine, and I encourage you to take a look at it. Two other things that maybe Patty could fill everybody in on that are going on that are worth being aware of. One is the Department of Transportation is building a series of towers for a communication system along the Sawmill Parkway, and we've received notice that we will be the recipients of one of them at the Grant Street exit, so that the state is anticipating building a tower there that will have some communications equipment. And secondly, we are well along with the grant-funded project to put a solar array on our DPW roof. So, Patty, maybe you could update people on those two.
I'd be happy to. I don't necessarily know much more about the state's project. I do know it's a closed-circuit television communications network running up on all major parkways in Westchester County. The Hutchinson Parkway, Sawmill, and Sprainbrook will all be part of this system that will enable traffic management surveillance to take place from the Hawthorne Traffic Management Center that recently was constructed. And I am in contact with the New York State engineer that's responsible for the installation at Grant Street and the Sawmill River Parkway. I'm advised that there may be opportunities there for some enhancements like landscape screening, since there will be some equipment on the ground as well. But the site was chosen after the diligence was done because of its ability to send repeater signals from this location to where they needed to go. So since it's all on state right-of-way, there's really no agency involvement for the village. The state really does have the authority to use its property for these types of purposes. So as I learn more, I'll share some more. The other thing is that we have been involved through the stimulus programs that were put forth almost 2 years ago with a project down at the Public Works facility to install solar panels on our Public Works roof. And today we were noticed that a second milestone in this plan was accomplished by the village. This is particularly a very detail-oriented grant program, but we had to submit a waste management plan for the construction and for the installation of the project. We'd gotten approval for that, and now we're going ahead with the design intent, and we've got the panels submitted for approval to the engineers that are monitoring the grant program for the federal government. And the bids, as you know, came in substantially lower than the project's estimates, so our matching fund would obviously be affected as well. We'll be able to save some money there. But we'd expect the work to begin sometime start of the new year, in the early part of the new year.
All right, so that's great.
It is. It's exciting.
You can do that. You can install those in the winter.
Mhm.
As long as we don't have snow on the roof, I guess,
Right.
weather permitting. All right, so that's good news. The farm market continues. We're past the heart of the season with all the music and kids' activities and all of that, but the farm market continues every weekend through, I guess, the week before
Usually
Christmas?
Yeah,
Certainly
December,
into-
that week, 15th or,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So the farm market continues into mid-December every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 1, and I encourage you to go on down there. The makings of the best Thanksgiving dinner in captivity are to be found on Memorial Plaza, so please continue to patronize it. And then the last in this long list of comments we've made to kick off tonight's meeting, let me circle back to the new police officer we have just added. Those of you who watch regularly know that about a month ago we had a swearing-in ceremony for Officer Thomas Woods, and tonight for Officer Aaron Holly. Those represent two new people added to our staff. The one slot was a slot that had been vacated by an officer who left to take a different job, and the second is one that we spent quite a bit of time analyzing and working with the police chief and the lieutenant to try to analyze the impact of hiring or not hiring another full-time employee, and trying to balance that against the likely overtime cost caused by trying to fill some of the empty slots with the staff we already have. So the result of that analysis, as you saw tonight, is that we felt it prudent to hire an additional officer. We remain below the staffing that we've had typically for quite some years in the last 10 or so years, but we continue to monitor that very carefully. All of you who listen regularly will know that we have been involved now for a year in an effort to understand what our options might be in terms of police consolidation, possibly with the town of Mount Pleasant, or the possible outsourcing of police services to Westchester County, following a model that was originally established more than a year ago when the town of Ossining signed a contract to have the county police provide services in their community. We were well along with that analysis and invested quite a few hours into it when the discussion was put on hold at the order of the county executive. I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago, and he indicated that at some point later in the fall we'll circle back and hear their thoughts about whether we can continue that discussion or not. But in the meantime, there has been no way to proceed forward with that discussion or to analyze any kind of an offer because no offer has been forthcoming. So I'm hopeful that we may hear more about that soon. Similarly, we've been talking to the town of Mount Pleasant to assess what kind of savings might be available there, either with a shared service arrangement or some sort of consolidation. At the moment, I think it would be fair to say that both sides agree that we haven't identified major savings that would be achieved that way, but we continue to have those discussions. In the meantime, absent a clear way forward that would change the nature of our department, we are doing what we need and ought to do, and that is to run a department in a manner that will give us both appropriate police services now and the chance for a stable department going into the future. So everything remains on the table, but I would be less than candid if I didn't say it's been a frustrating process. So we hope to make some progress as time progresses. Anybody else have anything to say? Anybody from the public? Welcome.
Hello, Michelle Lucia, 386 Bedford Road. Haven't been here in a while, so I thought I'd make a personal appearance.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I've missed it. No. The first thing I want to talk about is my cell phone carrier Sprint is back to charging Pleasantville City tax on my cell phone bill, and I'm sure there are many other Sprint subscribers in Pleasantville. So my calling and inquiring, I really don't get very far, so maybe someone from the village. Judy,
How much are they
right.
charging?
It's 9 cents every month.
We're not
For
getting
many
9
months.
cents from them, I can tell you that. Is that fair to say?
No, we can't collect on cell
Does it say
accounts,
city, Pleasantville City?
on wireless accounts.
We're not even a city.
I know.
I just like, Pleasantville City sales tax.
So
We don't have our own
It
sales
was
tax.
months and months where this
Mhm.
charge
Thank
occurred,
you.
and then it stopped for a while, and now it's back.
I think some investigative reporting may help me.
Be interesting. As I said, there are many subscribers at 9 cents. The other thing I want to talk about is Cablevision. And strangely enough, the very same day that I canceled my Cablevision account and switched to FiOS, I got a knock on my door at 10 of 7 in the evening inquiring what type of TV service did I use. Did I have FiOS? Did I have satellite or DirecTV? And I said, really not comfortable answering this question, and I think it's very strange that you're out soliciting at 10 to 7 in the evening, and see ya. So the next morning I called the police to inquire if anyone had registered to solicit from Cablevision, which is the normal procedure to go door to door, and they hadn't. And then I called Judy, and I told her the story. I mean, it was just bizarre. I have my surrender ticket of my equipment at 10 to 12, and at 10 of 7, somebody was knocking on my door. I don't know if it was corporate strong-arming or what was going on, but I expected a spiel when I called to cancel, and they did try and retain me, but that was the end of it. And certainly I don't expect anybody to come to my home, and I don't know if any other residents have
How long ago
experienced
did you
this.
switch over?
About 3 weeks ago.
Me-
And also,
Me too. And I
Did
didn't get
anybody come
anything
to-
like that.
really,
It was Cablevision? They
that's
didn't have
what the person said. I'm like, who are you?
Interesting.
Cablevision, we can save you money.
it? Oh.
I didn't
So,
even know they were going door to door.
No,
No.
I actually called the office, and they had no idea who was going out there, and they said they were going
That's
to
very
follow up on
suspicious
it.
then.
yeah, just the timing was strange.
Right.
All right, so we're done with the Cablevision. Now, the next question I want to ask is about the amended ordinance that we talked about, that I think went into effect at the end of August, about rewriting the ordinance to prohibit the truck traffic on Bedford Road. So am I correct that became effective the end of August?
Maybe even earlier, but yes, it was the summer.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, I'm here to say that nothing has changed, and this is intensely frustrating. There is absolutely, you can enact any ordinance you want. It has to be enforced. So I want to tell you what the traffic pattern is like, and I'm sure you may experience some of this because you live on Bedford Road. But starting at 3:30 a.m., and this is most days except Sunday, speeding, heavy-duty equipment, 18-wheeler trucks are coming up Bedford Road. They start at 3:30 in the morning. As I said, they're speeding. This continues all day long, not only on Tuesdays, but most every day of the week. Today I saw a cement truck driver speeding down Bedford Road on a handheld cell phone, which is really why that made me come here tonight, because I can't believe that there's absolutely no enforcement. So I'd like a little civics lesson to find out what the chain of command is to get, a very prominent show of enforcement, because this is really a nightmare waiting to happen. We all know it's a walking community for the school district. There's always people on Bedford Road, and there are always 18-wheelers and trucks that do not belong there, that are smaller than 18-wheelers. So I don't get it. I don't understand how something gets changed. It's supposed to improve, but actually nothing improves. Saturday morning at 7:30, I went out to get my newspaper, and I saw a Pleasantville police officer pass the 18-wheeler on Bedford Road, and then another smaller, like a Poland Spring water delivery truck. And, neither of those trucks belong on the road. So what's going to happen?
If he's making a delivery, is he allowed on that road?
If they're making a local delivery, but
Was
more
it
than
a
likely,
delivery.
home delivery truck?
No. I've
It was a big
gotten this
driveway?
rebuttal many times. If he was making a delivery, I've seen oil tanker trucks, not Burke Oil, but I mean tanker trucks on Bedford Road. If someone is making a delivery to the Old Village, the option is to go down Manville Road and enter into the Old Village that way. So,
No, I didn't know if he was making a delivery on,
No.
on that side.
no, when you see the equipment, this afternoon there was one of those enormous flatbed trucks that normally carry lumber or building supplies. So it's happening all the time, and there's no enforcement.
Well, we'll get the statistics on what tickets have been written and
I
use
could
that as
guess.
a metric
Mhm.
to see whether we can get some increased enforcement. I assume that lots of these are probably repeat offenders who just use this as their way to go, and perhaps a little bit of a show of force can try to get the word out that Manville's the truck route by ordinance. So.
Yeah.
Where are they going at 3:30 in the morning? Do you have any idea? I mean, are these like
they just go right up.
cargo
I
trucks?
can't give
or-
you the Powerball numbers.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they're going. They're just speeding up
Well,
Bedford
why are you at it?
Road.
Do you have the Powerball numbers?
There's an unclaimed ticket sold in Fairfield County.
They typically head to 684. They just,
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
cutting
they're coming
from
from 9 to the
684.
Tappan
How are they getting to
Uh,
684?
They come off the Tappan Zee and they come through 117 and they
Right.
cut up. That's,
So I'm not sitting
Barron's
down yet,
Road,
because the last time I called and
or-
complained, it was the same thing.
Right.
Well, we'll look
117
into
to
it.
Manville.
Nothing is being corrected.
yeah.
All you need is a squad car at Martling Avenue. You can station it from 7 to 9 a.m. That's another big, busy truck time. In the evening, I mean, we've seen 2 18-wheelers, one going east, one going west at the same time, also very scary. So this is a quality of life issue, and all the wonderful things you said about Pleasantville are true, but there are certainly things that, need to be improved, and
No
this
doubt.
is something that really is important. And if we have visual learners, I can set up I have a closed-circuit camera TV also. So, you can see what's going on, because it's dangerous, and it's ridiculous. It's not part of the character. We have a truck route, and it should be enforced. So what's the protocol? Patty goes to the chief, you send an email, what happens?
A chat with the police chief and see what kind of standing posts we can have when we have officers available. I mean, I agree with you. We want to tamp this down and try to change this behavior. There are limits to what we can do, but it doesn't sound like we have reached them. So,
Okay, well, I look forward to some improvement.
okay,
If not, I'll be back.
thanks.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Anybody else with any comments or calling questions at 769-1677? All right. The next order of business is a public hearing Do I have a motion to open a public hearing on a local law amending Chapter 173, Vehicles and Traffic, Sections 173-57, 173-60, and 173-63?
So
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Patty, do you want to describe this, the genesis of this?
Absolutely, yeah. The Public Safety Committee had reviewed several recommendations sent to it. The first that we're looking at this evening is concerned with Garrigan Avenue and creating stop intersections on Garrigan Avenue at the intersection of Madison. This is an effort to eliminate the road closure that takes place during school bus drop-off and pickups in the vicinity of Sherman Park in southeast Pleasantville. The second amendment here concerns Manville Road, and it extends a setback on the north side of Manville Road from the corner of Academy Street. Currently, there's a 35-foot setback. It's recommended that the setback be increased to 75 feet. And finally, there is a request that there be some prohibited parking on both sides of Garrigan Avenue from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to accommodate school day traffic, Monday through Friday, from Madison Avenue to Saratoga.
So currently, the closing, the entire block is closed to traffic in the morning and the afternoon on Garrigan between Madison and Saratoga, right?
Not all day, it's not
Right,
closed.
just
it's only
a
that's
block
right.
of time in the morning and a block in
That's
the
right.
afternoon.
Right.
And the proposal here is, instead of that, to establish a stop sign at Madison and Garrigan, and to establish no parking from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday from Madison to Saratoga.
That's correct.
Monday through Friday, okay.
And
And-
there'd been considerable discussion with the neighborhood, people in the community, they are aware
Did
of.
they go to the public safety meeting?
I believe several did, yes.
Okay.
I see the chief nodding his head.
This was the resolution
Yes.
to that? This is,
And the no parking 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on that block of Garrigan, Monday to Friday, would be year-round? There's nothing in the code that would suggest it's just during the school year. Or school days. Does that matter? I mean, it may be better just to leave it crystal clear as opposed to creating a judgment call, is it a school day or not. But
I think we would take, the most aggressive position right now and leave it all year round, and if we need to make modifications, we'll do that. But
doesn't that sort of take parking away from the neighborhood if it's year-round? I mean, and I live in a school area, and the signs are school days, and that seems to work on questionable days.
I pass through the Garrison School District on my way up to Cold Spring every morning, and they have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit
I know
on the
where that
blinker.
is. Yeah,
School days.
right. Well, yes, the speed limit changes from, I guess, 45 on that road to 50.
I mean, I would be in favor of having a sign for school days.
I don't, it'll accomplish the goal. The goal is to keep the street clear for the school
What
bus.
happens if the chief is here? Any thoughts on that, Chief Love?
I think that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So the suggestion there is that the no parking, the parking prohibited certain hours on Garrigan would be 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday on school days.
And because it's less restrictive, we can pass that tonight.
So what,
Yeah.
the question is, what's a school day, from my perspective?
When
Because-
school is in session.
Well, but there are days that public schools are in session, but the schools associated with churches aren't, and it's in front of a church. I mean, it gets a little problematic when you start to designate school days when school days are defined differently.
well, school days is,
Schools,
there's no other school. There's no school in the church like there is in the,
Okay.
we still have Monday, and it's Monday through Friday is.
where the school days signs exist,
I don't know why we can't do
they're
Monday
okay.
to Friday,
They work.
period. I mean, it's just so much easier to do that.
Because 3 months out of the year, there's no school, and it sort of just it renders this more of a it's a taking from the local neighborhood who might need it for a birthday party on a summer
It
afternoon.
was really to accommodate school buses and the queuing of kids and all that sort of thing, and if there's not school buses and kids, then
Right, and don't, right.
You got a lot of activity at this social hall at Our Lady of Pompeii, and
Okay.
people dropping things off and all that, so.
Okay.
So the neighbors are at ease with this? I'm sure there's some variety of opinion, but
I
They
think,
knew about the public hearing tonight?
yes,
They got notices, or it was just because we
Yes.
posted it?
they were noticed at the last Public Safety Committee meeting that there'd be a hearing.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about the summer. I was really thinking about if I've got my kids in Catholic school, I park my car there on the day that they're off and the public schools are on. And I get a ticket. Well, it's not my school day.
Yeah, this isn't, nobody would be towed. I mean, the worst case is a ticket, and then they could explain, to the court that they thought it was a school day.
Do you want to identify
we have a
yourself?
speaker. Enter and sign in, please.
Mannahagan Road, sorry to interrupt, I just had a point. The school in question, people go from that location to school in Mount Pleasant.
Right.
Okay, and Pleasantville and Mount Pleasant don't always have the same calendar year in terms of when we have superintendent conference days and things like that. So school, you may live in Pleasantville and school's open in Pleasantville, but it's not open in Mount Pleasant. The chief and I were just talking in the back, and maybe saying something from September through June or something like that would be more appropriate, because there would be certain school days that
would
one
be
was
fine.
open
That would-
and
that's
the other
something
wasn't.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just say, no parking 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, except July and August.
All right, fine, I'm
Right.
good with that.
And then
I
there's.
just wanted to avoid the confusion of
It's going to be a
days.
bigger
We're
sign,
going to have
that's all.
a sign like 10 feet long, and you have to, get out and
It's like being
put your
Hogwarts,
glasses
another,
on. What am I allowed to
another
do?
ordinance.
All right, so everyone.
I just add one final
It's going to be a
thing
big
on that,
sign,
perhaps.
that's true.
All the residents on that block are Town of Mount Pleasant School District residents. They all know.
I will say that part of
What
the
days are-
concern, some of this discussion was triggered by concern among some of the residents that not all of the residents were being fully respectful of the issues surrounding school kid safety. So what you say makes sense, except that,
That's
yeah,
just
right.
But some of them don't have school
Throwing it on
kids
the
in the
pile of
school.
comments.
Right.
Part of the problem is some of those people don't have kids in the school, so they don't even know when school days are, and unless they get the calendar. And all the pass-through traffic is Village of Pleasantville schools. It's Pleasantville schools, not Pleasantville.
All right, so if
I'm
that
good with
makes
that.
sense,
That makes sense.
we would, when we come to the resolution, which is going to be yours, Steve, add except July and August to that last element.
Well, there's summer school.
But no
They don't
buses.
get a
I
bus.
don't think they get a bus, so.
Good point.
what about the camps?
Should we,
I don't think there's a bus there. We could always revisit it. I don't think we need to.
I think we should talk about
Again
it
and
another
again and
30
again.
Have an idea. Let's overthink this. What do you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if
and-
we hadn't thought about it this much, we wouldn't have kind of.
No, I don't. I completely agree. I completely agree. All right. Is any further comment on this?
None.
Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please, dear Lord.
Second. All in favor?
Close the
Aye.
vote.
Aye. Public hearing is closed. We can now move to the resolutions. Number 221 on this very subject, Steve.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby approves a local law amending Chapter 173 Vehicles and Traffic, Sections 17357, 17360, and 17363 as follows. Add a stop sign for 17357 on Garrigan Avenue at the intersection of Madison Avenue to control traffic in both directions. Also on Garrigan Avenue, 17363, prohibit parking from Madison Ave to Saratoga Avenue, 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, except July and August, on both sides of the street. Section 17360, prohibited parking at all times from a point 35 east of the intersection of Academy Street on Manville going north, is repealed in favor of no parking on the north side of the street Again, Manville Road, north of Academy Street, for a distance of 75 feet.
Is,
Second. All right, I mean, really, why don't we just beat this to death, okay? Second.
Did we hit everything?
did you get the Garrigan?
I think it's all
He
in.
got
Yeah.
everything, believe me.
He did a great job.
Nice
Okay,
and
any
tidy.
further
All
comments or
those-
questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 222. Mindy.
Resolved that the pre-check register dated November 14th, 2011, covering check numbers 70778 through 70951 has been received, and they are hereby approved as listed below: the general fund, the miscellaneous fund, the water fund, capital fund, refuge fund, pool fund, trust and agency fund, for a total of $348,536.63.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions on the check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Jonathan, 223.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, October 24th, 2011, and they hereby approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or corrections? Worth commenting, we didn't mention earlier, these minutes include the description that we made a couple of weeks ago about the new sanitation schedules, which took effect, unfortunately, the very same week as the gods rained snow and ice down upon us, but hopefully everybody has gotten the information and is settling into their new sanitation schedules, which are intended to provide the same service you always got, but the days are different. That allows us to run the sanitation department with 4 full-time employees instead of 6. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Brian, 220.
Resolved. Yes.
Brief tape change. Welcome back. Sorry for that brief break. We were just changing the tape in the camera. Number 224, Brian.
That the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby accepts anonymous donations in the amount of $2,125
Those are all three different.
towards senior citizen programs.
Is there a second?
Second.
So that's 3 contributions,
Right.
one in the amount of $2,000, one in the amount of $100, and one in the amount of
Great.
$25. In what our regular viewers will note is a regular flow of generosity towards our senior programs, both a vote of confidence in the good work done down there and the generosity of so many good people. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved.
We ready for the next?
Yeah.
Yes. You did?
Resolution number 2011-225. Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville, upon the recommendation of the Police Chief, hereby approves the appointment of James Moore as a part-time school crossing guard effective November the 14th, 2011, at a salary of $20.62 an hour.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Welcome, Mr. Moore. Thank you for joining us. Another 226.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby appoints Linda Adair to the Library Board for a 5-year term to expire December 31st, 2016.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Linda, for volunteering for this service and for taking on the responsibility of a 5-year term. All in favor? Aye, motion approved. Number 227.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby suspends the parking meter fees for the time allowed on 1 and 2 hour meters, only 1 and 2 hour meters, from December 10th, 2011 through January 2nd, 2012. Is that right?
No,
Or is
it's
it
not
all
right.
meters?
All
Not
meters
the
except
12 hours
12 hour.
meter? Okay. So we're suspending, you don't have to pay any meter except the 12-hour meters between December 10th, 2011 and January 2nd, 2012, but you do have to observe the time.
That is correct.
Exactly right.
Okay, so that includes the pay and display
Yes, it does. That's
In
why this is a little off.
parking
So why don't
lots.
we say 1, 2, and 3 hour meters? Right? So the,
Yeah, all parking meters except 12-hour meters. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so the resolution will read, hereby suspends parking meter fees
So I've got 15
for the
minutes.
time allowed on all meters except 12-hour meters from December 10 through January 2, 2012. This, as you may know, is a an annual tradition here as well as elsewhere, and is something that the Chamber of Commerce feels very strongly about as an opportunity to try to encourage shoppers to patronize the downtown, as well as an opportunity to free us from the need to be hunting for quarters at a time when there are lots of other things to be doing. So, but as Jonathan mentioned, we do ask and indeed require that the time limits still be respected. So the parking enforcement officers will be chalking tires in order to keep traffic moving. So, all in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 228.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby approves the following budget amendments. This is to fund pool consulting agreement, taking $5,062 from pool part-time, transferring it to pool outside services, and to increase revenue and expense for music festival expenditures, taking $14,635 from festival revenue and increasing by the same amount to festival expense.
Is there a second?
Second.
So the first matter, the funding the pool consulting agreement, is moving money from one account that had money left in it to fund another one. The music festival accounting simply reflects the fact that we had more revenue and also more expense in equal amounts, so that there's no net change in our bottom line. Good opportunity to remind people that it was a great and successful Pleasantville Music Festival, and we've committed to doing it again and have a date in July, which is not at the tip of my tongue, but mark your calendars for, I guess it's the second Saturday in July, right?
That would
Usually.
be it, yes.
Yeah,
Second
so-
Saturday in July.
All in favor?
Date is-
Aye. Motion approved. 229, Steve.
Resolved the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village treasurer to increase the sidewalk capital project account H541.210/08490 in the amount of $4,737.55, representing money received from the 50/50 program, effective June 1st, 2011.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Resolution number 230 was the one we did first, and that was the appointment of Erin Holly as a new police officer. We welcome her to the force and encourage you to greet her with a warm, Pleasantville welcome when you see her on the street in uniform. So, any further comments?
Nope.
There being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to seeing you. Our next televised meeting is 2 weeks from today, Monday, November 28th. In the meantime, have a great Thanksgiving.
No, really?
Yes?
28th.
That would be the Monday after
That would be
Thanksgiving.
the Monday after.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Yes.